What we have here is a failure to communicate. Welcome back to Bizarre Podcast, Dogs Must Die. My name is Grant. You can call him Chip. And today we are beginning our coverage of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean, the animated adaptation of Part 6, Episodes 1 through 3.
Part 6 has been one I've been waiting for a long time, partially because it was like the first one I had not already read all the way through for the manga, I believe, or at least partially. And, you know, if you barely know anything about Part 6, the one thing you probably know is, hey, it's the one with the girl JoJo.
Yeah.
Yay!
We talked about First Guy. We talked about Guy I didn't know was in there. We talked about Hat Guy and Prince Guy and Blonde Guy. And now it's the girl one.
Yay, the girl one. After having all of Part 5 be all boys all the time, essentially, and having one girl who seemed pretty cool and then was almost never allowed to do anything.
It's all ladies.
It's all ladies.
It's practically all ladies. There are a few non-ladies.
Mm-hmm. It's heavy with ladies.
Man, I wish I was heavy with ladies.
Oh, man.
Anyway, that brings us to Episode 1, Stone Ocean, which opens on bloody boys in the afternoon rain.
Yep. We just get a small taste of what's going on here with a woman narrating over it. Essentially just saying it was raining, and then seeing this woman distraught at what appears to be a man completely mangled from a car accident.
We see that it is 5:35 p.m. on October the 28th, 2011, which means later this evening the Cardinals will win the World Series in Game 7. It means that Jimmy Savile dies tomorrow. Mark your calendars, everybody. We're going to have a party.
Yeah, as the camera pans over this scene, it looks up to the clouds, which are an extremely dark purple, and we fade over to the floor of a prison cell, and we see a bunch of different women in various prison cells, and they're
all reacting to this metallic clanging noise that's just happening over and over again, and are very confused until the camera spies the source of it. It is that young lady from the rain clonking her head on her bunk over and over again out of shame.
Yeah. She's extremely embarrassed. She wants to... She's just saying out loud, so everyone else is hearing this, that she just wants to die.
She's not embarrassed she's in prison.
Well,
no,
yeah.
It's something a little more acute than that.
Yeah. There's a woman next to this lady clonking her head on her bunk who gets in a conversation with her here. Okay, so there's also a third woman who's basically just listening to this whole conversation, who has enough of a design to make it seem like, oh, is this lady important? No.
Okay, we don't need to keep playing coy. We have our main character, Jolene, who's about to be named in like 1 minute from now.
Yeah. Trying
to bash her own brains in out of shame. And she has like 2 brightly colored hair buns and a braid behind it. A spiderweb pattern, a halter top with a great big heart with a sword in it, which matches her butterfly with a sword tattoo.
Yes.
In the car accident scene, she had a skirt made of webbing, just like a cargo net for a skirt. Yep. But now she got pants that match her top in its spiderweb pattern. And that's Jolene. We're going to talk more about her later. The next door cell neighbor who is trying to get the straight dope, pull out what she's so embarrassed about, is she is a moderately dark skinned woman with like dark hair in braids and green chunky bits. What are these in her hair? What is happening?
I don't know what those are. If it were just the 2 on the sides, I would say it's some type of weird hair clip or something.
Yeah, but imagine the halfway point between like a hair clip and a boxing helmet.
Yeah, like she's got this really wide green strip down the top middle of her head, which it's kind of the same size and shape as that little strip that sticks out on the top of Mega Man's helmet. But yes, green?
Yes.
Yeah.
Her color is green. She has like a sleeveless jacket over a sleeveless turtleneck sweater.
Yeah, with like little triangle holes cut in to it all over the place. Yeah.
wide bands around each bicep. The jacket is cut in like sort of a jester cut, I guess. Toward the bottom.
Yeah, she isn't wearing it in this first scene, that like green jacket thing. So you can also see she's got like these on each bicep, like these big gold bangles wrapped around her biceps.
Third lady, who as far as these 3 episodes go, never gets a name.
Nope.
We don't have to care about her. She's got like a dozen facial piercings. She's one of them tackle box ladies.
Yeah, she's got like an ear piercing that has like a little chain that connects to a piercing like on her cheek, which then has another chain that connects to a piercing that is on her lip. If any of those get caught in anything, she's in big trouble.
But eventually, after a lot of coaxing, a lot of hesitation, Jolene eventually says that what she's so mortified about is a prison guard caught her rubbing one out, and she will never masturbate again for as long as she lives.
Yeah. There's a bit here that was cut out of the anime that was in the manga, which is just like, the lady that Jolene is talking to thinks this is very funny. It's just like, oh, who caught you? Is it the extremely handsome prison guard? Yes, it is. In the manga, it's not extremely handsome. Is it the guy that looks just like Tom Cruise? And he does.
Our bystanders, so the other inmates think this is the funniest thing. They're loving this shit. Mm-hmm. And this is when Jolene introduces herself. Yes, she's named after the Dolly Parton song, one of the 2 Dolly Parton songs everyone knows. She's got thousands, I think, at this point, long career. So cast notes, our very first cast notes. Mm-hmm. Jolene's English voice is 2B in Nier Automata.
Yes.
Has voiced several very small JoJo's roles before, but we did hear her as Reimi Sugimoto, the #1 best JoJo's character of all time back in Diamond is Unbreakable.
Yeah, so one other fact about this lady is Kira Buckland, who, yes. She's a slightly newer voice actress, but she's great. We've heard her before in something else a long, long time ago.
Okay.
She voiced the character known as Sylvia in the Newgrounds Flash animated series, Shin. She was fucking in Shin, dude.
Now, the thing that's wonderful is both of the voices we're going to talk about for Jolene did come out of fan spaces. Yes. So I knew that Kira Buckland had, like, amateur Newgrounds era career, but I had no idea that was one of her credits. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's, like, one of the first things she did, I think, when she was, like, a teenager. Like, she's our age, essentially.
Hot damn.
Yeah.
So, Jolene's Japanese voice is also a relative newcomer to professional work. Mm-hmm. But her first lead role was in How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift? And she's currently voicing Power in the Chainsaw Man adaptation.
Oh, shit. That's cool.
And she also dubbed for Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman in The Batman.
Okay.
Both of these actors have stories of being huge Jolene fans before they were professional voice actors, which is just, it's really cool to see one person get to do like this dream come true role, and 2 at the same time is just remarkable.
Yeah. It won't be until episode 2 where the OP comes in, but also the band that does the OP for part 6 is a band that had done a bunch of fan-made, like, what if OP songs for JoJo for part 6 specifically, so.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So back in the action, now that the topic is on the table, these other prisoners are asking Jolene all about her jerk habits. And she talks about how, there's nothing more erotic than the moon, apparently. Just couldn't wait.
Yeah, specifically the full moon coming through the bars of her cell window.
Mm-hmm. I mean, more like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, if you get what I mean.
Whoa.
But this piercings lady, kind of judgy, actually.
Yeah. The dub, the localization for the dub, you can tell it was like done with the knowledge that, hey, we're on Netflix and there aren't really censors, because I feel like there's a lot of words thrown around in here that you would not hear in an anime dub normally. I mean, aside from the fact that they say fuck multiple times in the first 3 episodes.
That's true, yeah.
Which I was shocked to hear when I first watched these episodes. Like, JoJo said fuck? Oh my God. It was just also the fact that you're hearing a whole bunch of vernacular, like flicking the bean and stuff like that, which I don't think you could probably get away with in a televised dub normally. I don't know.
It's called flicking the cloud gate. Come on, you're not really from Chicago. So Jolene and Piercings Lady enter into a Seinfeld episode before.
They do.
I guess it makes sense because like that was before their time, you know. This is they're teenagers in 2011. They don't know. They weren't there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this Piercings lady is laughing it up, saying like, "Man, you're a fucking crazy skank for getting turned on by the moon. I never think of perverted stuff like you two hoes." The verbatim from the dub. And yeah, they just go, "Well, I'm never masturbating again. Bet you can't. I bet I can last longer. Okay, we're both not masturbating for a while."
And then Jolene, just like, in case you didn't get, she's the new JoJo, does this bizarre observation, like, "Oh, I know from one of your ring fingers I can outlast you." And everybody's like, what the fuck does that mean? And then we see the star birthmark on her shoulder. That's a JoJo right there. There it is.
It feels like a really weird, bizarre, like, almost young Joseph adjacent thing. Like, ooh, I could tell if you masturbated by your ring finger. What?
Mm-hmm. All right, so what are the other 5 JoJo's jerkin habits? We have to... The question must be raised, and it must be answered. Okay. Jonathan does not know it exists, does not realize it's an option, has never heard of such a thing.
Has never done it, and even if he did, a gentleman would never jerk off. Joseph Joestar, the sleeper.
Constantly. Whenever we're not looking at him as a young man.
Morning and night routine.
It's the only way he can get to sleep.
Yeah. It's the double sleeper. Both hands are asleep. Yeah.
All right, and just so we're clear, we're taking all of them when they were the main character, right?
Yeah,
this is part 2, Joseph. Now, part 3 specifically, Jotaro.
I think he probably rents porn.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he
movies.
definitely pays for it. Like it's all above board.
Yeah.
When he sends Star Platinum out to steal magazines for him, he like leaves behind a couple bucks on the counter.
Yeah. Josuke just looks shit up on the internet.
He tries to do something new every time, and eventually it's like, oh, does hanging upside down do anything? I don't know.
Yeah. He's always looking up new tricks. Giorno.
Only if it kills someone.
Yeah, this is violent.
Somehow.
Violent masturbation.
The angle of the spurt will do something.
Yeah.
Someone outside the window will slip and fall and break their neck.
Whoa, hold on a second. He uses a snake. The snake trick. Classic snake.
Auto is snakic asphyxiation.
Just get one of the ones that squeeze a lot. I don't know. One of those boa constrictors or something.
This scene, this is how we introduce our brand new JoJo. Is like the most like crude and the most like beset by the world, I guess. The mafia wasn't after Giorno until he started it, right? Like the world is already out to get Jolene before we even meet her.
Yeah.
Which is really underlined with like the scene ends with her just proclaiming "I'm innocent" with a extreme close up onto her handcuffs and the bars she's behind. Like This is not matching up, and so that is when the first title card comes up, and it dissolves into the sheen coming off a recently waxed and buffed patrol car.
Mm-hmm. And so now Jolene has been transported to the City of East Beach Police Department.
Mm-hmm.
This is taking place in Florida, and she is meeting up with her elven lawyer.
That's a fucking elf!
This dude has extremely pronounced and kind of fat-looking elf ears.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the lawyer is pretty standard, except for his tie covered in question marks, like he's the fucking Riddler.
Yeah, he's Sylvester McCoy in 1988.
Yeah.
So they're chatting about the case, and Jolene asks about how her mom is doing, and elf lawyer responds, "She's bummed to be sure."
Yeah. I love the English voice acting for the lawyer because he is so bored sounding and detached from all of this.
Yeah, if my kid was locked up in jail for grand theft auto and apparent homicide, I'd feel bummed. I'd be pretty bummed about that. That is exactly how I describe my state.
Yeah, so he's going over the state of the case. Yeah, stealing a vehicle and running someone over are the charges. And he's saying her bail won't be approved because she's been charged with 2 thefts in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where he calls her JoJo, and she hates that.
Only her mom gets to call her JoJo.
Yeah.
So he's also brought some, like, survival equipment for her, including the latest copy of Vogue. Gotta have my Vogue.
Yeah.
And this little metal bug.
Yeah, a little pendant in the shape of a bug?
Yeah, it's like a pendant charm locket thing that looks very much like the bug from the special bug arrow of part 5.
Yep. And you know, she doesn't recognize this thing, so she asks the lawyer what it is, and he's explaining that hey, if you open it up, there's a small stone inside and a picture of your mother and father, and your dad said if you're ever in trouble that you need to have this. And then her finger explodes.
Because the sharp little stone in there is actually part poking out of the gap a little bit somehow. So she gets the bug to bite, and then there's blood. There's so much blood. It's going everywhere.
Yeah, you get a close-up of her finger bleeding, and there's like multiple little holes that pop open on her index finger.
Her finger's exploded.
It looks like it's as if there's a little man inside her finger who started firing a gun. That's what it looks like.
So she manages to open this thing, and inside there is a little shard of a stand-creating arrow. Hell yeah, let's go.
Mm-hmm. And she moves the little shard of the arrow out of the way, and inside is a picture of her mom and dad, with her dad being fucking Jotaro Kujo.
If this lady is anything but a mermaid, I do not understand the relationship here. I don't get it. I'm going to spend the whole rest of these 3 episodes wondering who the fuck Mama is. I must know all I can about her.
If she wasn't a mermaid, she was someone Jotaro came across that was like shipwrecked on the ocean or something, and she was the only survivor. Like, there's no way he met her on land.
He found the only human woman who pukes up her stomach in order to eat, and he's like, that's what I'm into.
Oh, yeah. Her hair does have a bit of a swoosh to it that's kind of like the shape of a dolphin jumping or something. I don't know.
I see. Yes. Yeah. Yes, actually.
Yeah. Jotaro in the picture here is still rocking his part 4/part 5 outfit. You know, the bright white one with the J-O written in a dolphin and a sun medallion.
We talked about the J-O enough. We got to move on.
Yeah, let's move on. And the lawyer says, it's really fucking hard to track down your dad.
He's always on these boats and shit.
Yeah, as a marine biologist, he's fucking hard to track down, apparently. Last we heard about him, he was conducting research somewhere in Africa.
Which does not narrow it down. Large continent, many coastlines.
And also from the dialogue here, it's implied that Jotaro is divorced from his wife. And Jolene says, what's the fucking point of even finding him? It's not like he would come. She just tosses this medallion at the wall, and it falls down through a little drain on the floor. Clearly fucking hates her dad.
So there's about to be a lot more rat stands running around this place.
Oh, God damn it, more rat stands.
It's just what Florida needs, a bunch of people melting.
Yeah, right? And so, yeah, after throwing the locket away, the lawyer tells her, hey, you have to get ready for a trial in like 2 days.
Yes, the trial is being held in Green Dolphin prisons, facilities. It's a full service prison we got here.
Yep. And so after she's informed that, we cut to Jolene being transported in a truck. And she's
with her next door neighbor. She's back.
Yep.
And her name is Hermes Costello.
Yes.
Hermes, named for Hermes, the luxury accessories brand. And, of course, Elvis Costello, finally.
Yay! The Elvis Costello is finally here.
I've been waiting for 6 parts. Every artist is lucky if they get, like, one perfect album. To have 4 in a row. Come on, come on.
Right?
And let's see. This was written in 2000, so the most recent Elvis Costello project was his Burke Bacharach collaboration. So, hey, God give me strength. Hell of a song. Hermes's English voice was the cyborg kid very recently in the Noah's Ark episode of David Productions' Spriggan OVA.
Okay.
She also played the 9th pilot to die in 86.
Okay.
While her Japanese voice also dubbed Zoe Kravitz, but for a different movie in Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, okay.
Last week we mentioned Keep Your Hands Off Isaacin, and this is the Japanese voice of Kanamori, the tall girl who becomes the producer of the studio.
Yes. Yeah, the money girl.
A lot of her career is playing young men and boys, including Riddy from Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, Zerome in Darling in the Franxx, and the beharumed lead of Cat Planet Cuties.
Okay.
So if you want to talk about old shit we did in the past, I could just talk about Hermes's Japanese voice actor forever because my God, she's dubbed for both Kat Dennings and Florence Pugh's characters in the MCU.
Oh wow!
If they ever meet, she will be talking to herself, I guess.
Oh man, yeah. Speaking of Hermes and her voice acting, compared to like the other ladies in this show, she's definitely the one that's like a little more butch or masculine. She's got a bit of a rougher quality to her voice.
Yeah, for sure.
That I really like. Like Hermes, for me at least, like I immediately liked her just because she seems sassy is not the word that I'm looking for. I don't know what word I'm looking for here. But I just thought she was really charming from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she and Hermes are talking to each other, you know, just about being transferred to the prison, and then Jolene hears the guys in the front of the truck who are completely separated, you know, by like a wall and a shutter they can open and close. They're talking to each other that they're about 10 minutes away from the prison. And Jolene's just like, I guess we're getting pretty close to the prison. And Hermes is just like, what are you, a fortune teller now or something? And then that little shutter gets open and they inform the guard on the other side holding a shotgun, like, hey, we're about 10 minutes there. And both Jolene and Hermes are confused how Jolene could have known that.
Does she hear the future? Huh? No, she does not hear the future.
No.
So they're just chatting about their charges, you know, like, oh yeah, second robbery offense. Whoops, they got me. Mm-hmm. This transfer is taking place on November 6th, so watch out. We're 2 weeks from the release of Minecraft.
Oh God. I
am currently in a movie theater watching The Muppets and maybe crying a little. You don't know.
Yeah. Hermes, you know, introduces herself to Jolene. Yeah, caught robbing a convenience store, and it's her second time, so they're throwing her in jail. And Hermes starts talking about, hey, if you're going into prison, you got to be prepared. Do you have any cash on you? Like, you're not going to make it far in jail unless you've got some cash to bribe guards and, you know, pull favors and keep yourself safe. And this is when we get introduced to the prison properly by, I believe, the first time, the narrator chiming in.
The narrator has returned. He has not abandoned us.
Yay.
And tells us that this prison is known as the aquarium. So Jotaro's probably already there waiting for her.
This is the aquarium. It's a big prison, 120 square kilometers, men and women's prison, different wings.
Its grounds occupy the entirety of this island offshore. That's why they're driving over a great big bridge.
700 some men, 500 some women, 452 juvenile delinquents. And back up to the money conversation. Jolene is just saying, I might have money hidden away somewhere. And Hermes gets serious and like, look, you have to have at least $100 or $200 though. And obviously those guards are going to search you. So you got to be really crafty about hiding the money. And Jolene is just like laughing it up, going like, okay, so you just put the money up your butt. It's up your butt, right?
It is not. It is not up her butt because they always look there. You got to think, Jolene.
Yeah. And so Jolene thinks a little bit more and it's just like, wait a minute. Are they in your boobs?
Because you got some big honkers.
You got implants and hid money in your boobs? And Hermes is immediately like caught off guard, like, okay, wow, you got me really quick. Yes, I have money in my titties.
So she has these small incisions in her armpits that, like, hopefully fucking saran wrap disinfected rolls of cash have been slid inside. Yeah. And so the plan is once she's inside, she'll just, like, tear open her sutures and get her emergency funds out of her chest.
Yeah.
She even talks about which denominations are on which side. Like, that is preparedness.
Yeah. So they arrive at the prison, and the Tom Cruise guard steps in and tells prisoners 21 and 29 to get off. Because there is one other woman, like, all the way in the back of this truck who never said
It's
anything.
not even Pierce Lady. It's just some lady.
Yeah.
She says nothing. She has no name.
Yep. And so Hermes is being left behind. She is not getting sent to the prison yet. And as Jolene is being escorted into the prison, the gates are opening up and all that. Jolene takes a look around, sees guys with shotguns and guard towers and stuff. And then
we're just getting quick flashes of all of these, like, structures of captivity and vision.
And then all of a sudden, Jolene starts hearing the prison guards talking to Hermes in the truck, even though she's extremely far away from the truck at this point.
Anyway, I mentioned the Muppets earlier, and it turns out this girl's made of strings.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah, Jolene is just, even as the truck drives away, she is hearing these guards like badgering Hermes for payoffs for money. Jolene starts freaking out that she can hear this, and she can start hearing the guards like beating Hermes up. And yes, she has a light, like a sky blue, kind of brightly colored thread emerging from the little hole in her hand or in her finger where it had previously been, poked by the pendant. The string, this thread, is extending out of her finger all the way into the truck, even as it drives away. And like when she looks at her hand, a bunch of the skin on her hand is disappearing, and you can just see inside her hand is a ton of this string.
Meanwhile, in the truck, this is Araki's second shot at depicting what America is. What is it like to be in the United States? And much like the first, it's savage beatings from corrupt police officers.
Oh yeah, you are never I haven't seen all of part 6, but I've seen the majority of it as we're recording this episode. I have a couple more chapters left to read. There are no good cops in part 6. They're all bastards. They all suck.
Somebody should shoot their fingers off with a Coke bottle, I tell you what.
I agree.
And the thing that's all the more cruel about it is they're, like, announcing their cover story as they beat her.
Yeah. Hermes has, like, some backup money in a more obvious hiding spot so that she can hide, the bigger stash.
It's decoy money. Yeah,
she's got decoy money underneath one of her hair clip thingies. It's like $20 or $50 or something like that. And she gives it to the handsome guard. And he says, man, this ain't enough. How can I split this with my partner over here? You clearly have some money somewhere else on you. And then this is when Tom Cruise guy says, oops, looks like the truck braked. And then he just does an elbow drop on her.
And, like, this is a step beyond what is depressingly common, actually breaking the car in such a way to use the car to beat up the person in the back.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, yeah, I saw a dog, whatever.
Yep.
So then he says the immortal line, quote, those titties are suspicious.
Yes.
Which sounds like it's from a 70s funk song.
Yeah.
So as he is rearing up his nightstick, his club, to come crashing down on Hermes's skull and try to unlock the secret of the suspicious titty, which is my favorite pulp novel. It stops short, and like he can't swing it any farther, and he's not sure what's going on. And so this is exactly the tension building technique we talked about last week.
Yes.
There's a taut string that he can't see, we can see, but it's a stand, so he can't see it. And then he notices blood dripping along the string. So I guess from his point of view, there is a line of blood suspended in midair.
Yeah.
And then we see the cause. His ear has been sliced off.
Yep.
And is stuck like cooked spaghetti to the wall of this transit van.
Yeah, like the ear is slowly sliding down the wall, leaving a blood trail.
Jolene's string stopped his clubbing, but the force of it pulled the string down in order to just like a monofilament wire cut his own ear off.
Yeah. And then we cut back to Jolene, who doesn't know what the fuck is happening. And the string like dissolved or snapped, and so she turns her hand around to look at the top of her hand, and there's still thread there, but it has grabbed the money the guard was holding, and it has tied it to the top of her hand.
You pickpocketed your only friend in here, Jolene. Damn. That's cold.
And so we fade to black and come up on November 8th, 11 a.m.
Today's the day Mac Miller's debut album drops.
Oh, man. And Jolene is back talking with her lawyer. And she's asking the elven lawyer here, like, hey, do you know what happened to that pendant I threw away? Because now she's very confused about, the magic string coming out of her hand. Lawyer don't give a fuck.
So instead we get a flashback to, the week before, to just before the cold open view of the bloody body. So yeah, it's roughly a week, although Jolene looks 4 years younger.
Yeah, it's just a face she puts on because she's with her boyfriend and she wants to be extra cute.
Being cute for people is going to come up in the next episode for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is West Palm Beach.
They're driving. Well, he's driving. His name is actually Romeo. It took me a while to figure out that that's his name and not a nickname.
Yes, this man is literally named Romeo.
And he wants some of Jolene's drink, and she's like, no, you cannot drink and drive. This is 10 ABV. Like, yeah. I don't know if she has a line at 6 or something, but this is definitely a no.
Romeo is wearing kind of like a pink turtleneck sweater, sort of, but like the turtleneck collar doesn't completely wrap around. It's got an opening right in the front of the neck. And he has what would be a pretty normal haircut if it wasn't for the fact that every couple inches there's just a line shaved all the way through. Like horizontally.
His haircut is terraced, like the growing fields of the Inca. Like
yeah.
But he is blonde and impossibly handsome. He's oh my goodness. What young girl wouldn't swoon at the sight of Romeo as he drives? I swear his car is an Alfa Romeo. Romeo is driving an Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
It's like the car in the movie Gremlins is a gremlin. Why are we doing this? Don't do this. Or maybe do this every time. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, Jolene is being all like lovey-dovey and saying like, "Hey Romeo, I want to come up with like a cute pet nickname that I can call you." Her idea is Rochu, which I don't know, sounds a bit too much like Roach to me to be a cute name.
Well, Roach is also impossibly handsome and blonde, so
yeah. Romeo says like, "Sure, you can use that name if you never use it in front of me." And the whole time Romeo just seems kind of annoyed that he's got this girl like loving all over him.
And then we get the clearest sign that this is an Italian car. There is a major impact and the airbags don't deploy.
Yeah. Yeah. A man collides with the front of this car. The glasses this man was wearing are lodged in the windshield, and there's blood all over the place. And the instant Romeo started like getting freaked out and shouting, I immediately recognized his voice actor. This is Yuri Lowenthal. I know it is. Big time voice actor for a long time. Voices tons of fucking dudes. He's fucking Peter Parker in the Insomniac developed Spider-Man games. He does a great job there. He's in like everything. But anyways, Jolene immediately gets out of the car and says, we got to contact the cops or call, an ambulance or something. And Romeo leaps out and says, no, I'll get in trouble.
So everything that happens from here on out is to protect Romeo, and he does not care about what fall does or does not get taken by whom, as long as it's not him. He's a massive asshole the whole time. Jolene is trying to do good, trying to call the authorities, call for an ambulance, call for the cops, just do the right thing, whatever that is. And he's like, no, we're going to stuff this dude's body in a trunk before any traffic comes down the road to spot us. And at the very last moment, she gives in to her boyfriend's will and does just that. And, now that we're here a week or so later, we know it didn't fucking work.
Yep. And the guy who got hit got majorly fucked. He got hit by this car so hard he was thrown up into a tree and was draped over the branches. But yeah, now we skip back to present time again, and the lawyer is telling Jolene that the prosecutors believe that Jolene stole a car and crashed it while under the influence. And she's just like, well, what did Romeo say? And she's informed that Romeo's the one who reported the theft.
She has the opportunity to tell the whole story, to come forward, to say everything, to try to exonerate herself, but she won't do it. She won't get Romeo in trouble. She just clams up, won't say nothing to nobody, and is just like, hey, lawyer, it's your job to get me off on this. Do what you got to do.
Yep.
And so he brings up, hey, y'all heard of plea bargains before?
Uh-oh.
So he's been in contact with the prosecutor, in exchange for pleading guilty to other charges. They'll drop the DUI charge and pursue a 2-year suspended sentence, which is if you get in trouble again, you go to prison for 2 years. If you play nice on your probation and whatever, you may not have to go to prison at all. Yeah. That sounds great. Wait, what the fuck? There was a dead person in your trunk. Why is the DUI the big charge here?
Yeah, wait a minute.
What is happening?
And he's like, hey, if you don't take the plea bargain and you're found guilty, you'll be in jail for at least 5 years. And he's pressuring Jolene, you got to make this decision soon.
Yeah, apparently their court date is in 15 minutes because it's the next scene.
Yeah, it's fucking Ace Attorney rules in here. But yeah, now we jump over to, she's in court.
So yeah, the judge is I've been informed that there's been a plea deal. I'm you sure? You super sure? And she says, yeah. And he's okay, 15 years for murder. Okay.
Yep.
At least there's no points on your license. You sure got one over on us, man.
Yay. And so, yeah, Jolene is really caught off guard by this and sweating and freaking the fuck out. And it's just the judge says we cannot forgive this deliberate killing. And Jolene's looking at her lawyer going, what the fuck is this?
Never trust an elf. Never trust an elf.
Never trust an elf. And we get this close-up shot of her elven lawyer's eyes, which are kind of sagging and he's making a weird, almost like face that a villain from Stardust Crusaders would make. And he just goes ugh. That's his response.
So yeah, apparently this hitchhiker that got hit was not dead when they put him in a trunk, and instead died in the swamp that they dumped the body in afterwards.
Yeah.
So that's where the active act of murder comes from for this 15-year sentence. So as the lawyer walks out, there is another bit of string-based eavesdropping to follow.
Yeah, the lawyer just collects all of his stuff and just leaves, and she is royally pissed at him, and he does not give a shit. He's just oh, I did my best. Stay healthy. Bye.
And he meets up with, wouldn't you know it, Romeo. Apparently, Romeo's dad did some favors and paid a whole lot of money to Jolene's lawyer to protect him instead of her. Who the fuck is this dad? Who pays better than the Speedwagon Foundation?
Right?
Right?
God damn.
So now we're 20 minutes into the episode and the eye catch comes.
Yes. Right before the eye catch. Yeah, Jolene was listening in that whole thing between the lawyer and Romeo. And this is when she's like screaming Romeo over and over and like shedding tears and basically vowing revenge. And then her string snaps and then her hand starts bleeding from that.
And we come back to her entering a Green Dolphin prison proper. Her intake is being handled by a prison guard, a large woman with, shall we say, unfortunate hair.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know the ratty-ass doll that Angelica has in Rugrats?
It's that, yeah.
What if that was like a 6-foot, very like thick, muscular woman?
Yeah.
No neck, just like a worm tube from crown to shoulder.
God, it really is just that doll Angelica has. Goddamn.
And from now on, Jolene Cujo will be known as prisoner FE 40536.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the other woman here, the other prison guard, less unfortunate hair, still not great, is kind of like Meryl's hair, sort of, if it were a bit more of a mullet.
And so she is instructed to strip, and they're all like, haha, you have to dehumanize the prisoners, really get them under your thumb. And she's like putting on a floor show when they look up already.
Yeah.
This is our first nude JoJo.
Yes, it is.
Like, what did it take? Like 5 episodes to even see Josuke's birthmark when he changed his shirt that one time?
Yeah.
Her ass is out and she is spreading with no shame.
Yep.
And then we meet another prison guard, more of like a head guard, some sort of official of the prison, who will be named shortly. His name is Loco Barocco. What the fuck is wrong with your skull? What is happening?
Oh my god. Yeah, Jolene spots all this happening because she's looking through like a barred window and sees the elven lawyer meeting up with Loco Barocco, who... So, okay, he is a very small man, the new JoJo character archetype since like part 4 of a little guy.
He's really little.
He's really little. He's portly, too. His head feels... Okay, so his skull shape feels like it's modeled after like a chameleon or something.
Yes.
The top of his head comes up to a little, like a point that's very disturbing and bad to look at. He's completely bald, so you can see the full curvature of his entire head.
The way his eyes, like the orbital bone, is so huge and pronounced. It's like he took like huge, thick Coke bottle glasses lenses and is using them as contacts.
Yeah. Yeah, just huge bulbous protrusions with tiny little slit eyes on top of them. He is disgusting. I hate him.
And one tuft of brown hair coming from the center of his head, or where the center of a normal person's head was, if he didn't have a skull tail. What is this nubbin?
Also,
what is your nubbin?
It feels even worse that his voice is very deep. There's something upsetting about that, pairing that with his little frame and his weird, fucked up head.
I'm going to give you a little piece of information that I think you need to know. Mm-hmm. Loco Barocco's Japanese voice is the official dub actor for Patrick Star.
Oh, shit. Oh, man, English voice should have been Patrick Star, too. Fuck, that would have been good. Oh, my God. Loco Barocco.
So yeah, he is meeting with Elf Lawyer, just like dotting I's, crossing T's, and it turns out that Loco Barocco has a note for the lawyer from Jolene. Isn't that nice? You know, let bygones be bygones, water under the bridge. Mm-hmm. So Elf Lawyer is driving home, and if Jolene or her stand are anywhere near a car, someone fucking dies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the lawyer gets in his car, opens up that note, and it says, pass this on to him too. Feeling comfy, but you will keep sweating now and forever. Jolene Cujo.
And as he tries to figure out, like, what's this about? But what? No, she couldn't possibly know. Whatever. He gets strangled the fuck to death by bright blue strings.
Yep. earlier, like when he was still in the prison, he was talking about like, man, it's kind of hot in here. And so he's in the car driving over the bridge. He's undoing his tie, saying like, man, it's getting hot in here. Save me, AC. And just talk about like how he hates dealing with all the scum in the prison, but it's the job. Yeah, that's when he starts getting strangled, and he can't see the string, but he can feel it. And so his desperate last like act to save himself is trying to turn the AC off because he thinks it's drying his throat out, and that's why he can't breathe. And yeah, that's when he crashes, and he's super bloody, full of glass all over his body, barely twitching.
And that is the end of episode 1. Now on to episode 2, Stone Free, also known as Prisoner FE 40536. And it kicks right off with our first look at the new OP, which is a return to the 3D model CG OPs of the past.
Like part 1 through 3. It's great. It looks great.
It's so brightly colorful. The first image is of the stand string acting like a guitar string, running along the highway to the prison, which is like reminiscent of a guitar neck. I love it. And the string pulls us through the entire OP, basically. We're just running through it into the transit van from the last episode, into the prison. There's a Roy Lichtenstein portion for some reason.
Yes. This OP actually also has tons of references to all the previous parts as well.
Yeah, there's like hundreds of tiny things flying by. I think this was something made for screen capping, basically.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, what do we got here? We got old Joseph's Walkman. Yep. We got the street sign that was supposed to cut Jotaro's head off in the Dio fight. Irina's childhood doll. I think that's her doll.
Yes.
All sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah, there's some later parts where like Kakyoin's cherries are like graffiti on a wall. I believe Polnareff's earrings are somewhere in here painted on a wall. Yeah, a lot of imagery that we don't know about yet, showing off a lot of characters we haven't met yet. But man, it looks great.
One thing that this OP does that I appreciate is relations of space. We don't cut from thing to thing so much as move from them. Yeah. And I'm assuming a lot of these are going to be sets where action takes place, and we're seeing how like these locations really intersect in one unbroken motion.
Yeah. And close to the end of this OP, like the string we've been following starts drawing a star, the Joestar birthmark. And as it's drawing that, we're getting images flashing by behind it of important things from all the previous parts. We see the stone mask, the red stone of Asia, Dio's body being burned up by the sun in the end, all that stuff. The arrow from part 5.
And it ends with that just being the birthmark on her shoulder, and she sees her father, Jotaro, but she walks away to be in captivity on her own, and ends just like up against prison bars.
Yeah. There's also a couple really good recurring visuals from the Stardust Crusaders OP, because there's some parts where Jolene is just in like kind of like a void full of stars, which is an image borrowed from the part 3 openings, as well as there's a part like midway through as the song's about to kick into high gear where Jolene destroys the handcuffs she is in, and she strikes a pose, and her stand appears behind her, and it is like the exact same framing and style as the first Stardust Crusaders OP where Jotaro poses and Star Platinum pops out beside him. Yeah, it's
really good. It's good.
Really cool.
So the action of this episode begins with Loco Barocco introducing himself and the rules with his fun hand puppet of a crocodile.
A little pink crocodile, yeah.
He is named for designer Rocco Barocco. Good for him.
Yeah, I don't know much about Rocco Barocco. Yes, the puppet, the little pink crocodile, is named Charlotte, and he puts on a falsetto voice while speaking through the puppet, going through all the rules. And all the prisoners just have to sit there and act like this is a normal thing to do.
His brain is as fucked up as his skull, I swear.
Oh, yeah. Going through the rules of, hey, you can walk around the prison at most times. There's libraries, you can use the phone. And all this, there's activities to do. If you behave really well, you can get a TV in your cell, and you can study for a college degree.
Wow, Charlotte, prison sounds awesome. I love it.
Yeah. And the whole time Jolene is holding her hand up like she's got a question, and she is never acknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot take off the wristband with your prisoner ID on it. You cannot borrow or share things with other inmates. Yeah, Jolene just gets fed up, says like, "Hey, are earrings allowed?" And then the Charlotte, the little puppet, goes into a very deep, angry voice that says like, "Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up!"
Like being condescended to by a grown man with a hand puppet. Well, a mostly grown man. I don't want to assume what the fuck that creature is. This is more humiliating than the strip search, is what I meant to say.
Oh yeah. And so yeah, all these new prisoners are getting shown to their cells. Jolene, the cell that she is getting put in, she's already got a cellmate.
She's escorted to it by a guard that has the narrator's voice. I want him to play every unnamed character. I love it anytime he's just a guy.
Yeah. So yeah, Jolene is entering the cell and about to get situated.
When she meets Gwess, who has snacks and an attitude.
Oh, big attitude. Because, the first thing Gwess says is just like, "Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Gwess. You want some of these cookies?" And Jolene's just like, "Thanks, but no thanks. Today's just been so fucking crazy. I have no appetite." And Jolene just barely leans over just to place her stuff on the bottom bunk. And this is when Gwess grabs a big-ass barbell and swings it at Jolene.
Yeah. Because that's her bunk. Get your hands off. So Gwess is named for Guess, the fashion brand, of course. Mm-hmm. She wears a black and deep blue or black and purple striped tube top and matching pants, at least until the lower part of her pants that are like armored.
Yes.
She's got sticky fingers legs, actually.
Yeah, she does. They're almost the same.
And all of that is covered up by the prison mandated jacket that she wears wide open, and a headband of a lighter color blue with arrow symbols around the edge.
Kind of like pitchfork
Kind of pitchforky.
Yeah. By the way, her tube top distracts me because, it's not just a tube top. It looks like she pulled out, the cups out of a bra and then put them on top of her tube top over her boobs.
Yes. Yes. She's also pretty recognizable from the two-tone, racing stripe lipstick situation she's got going on.
Yep.
And the three dots drawn underneath each eye, horizontally. Like she's scaring predators or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Jolene has fallen to the floor and Gwess is right on top of her, grabbing her by the collar, face an inch away from hers, just saying, "Hey, that's my fucking bunk. Do you got any problem with me?" And then they are interrupted by a little bird that is in Gwess's pocket, chest pocket, who pokes his head out and with the voice of a man goes like, and Gwess just puts her hand over and pushes him back into her pocket.
So Gwess's English voice, you might hear recently as the lead roles in both Komi Can't Communicate and Keijo, the butt fighting anime.
Yeah, the butt fighting anime. Keijo with 18 exclamation points out at the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Jolene is pretty much on the back foot. She's met one person who has 3 moods already, and what's the fuck is up with this little bird?
Mm-hmm.
Especially because at some point, the bird's head pops off, and there are 2 tiny arms that reach out of the bird neck and grab a snack to pull inside. Lady, your bird's fucked up. You got a fucked up bird.
Yeah. Right before that happens, Jolene notices, on Gwess's bunk, is that golden pendant that she threw away earlier. Mm-hmm. Yeah, then her bird does that fucked up little thing where the head pops off and little man arms come out to grab a snack. The first time I saw that happen, I laughed out loud so hard because it was just the first episode is definitely still JoJo, but it's just with all the setup and stuff, nothing too crazy is happening. And I was just what's the first absurd thing to happen? And it's a little bird popping its head off and little man arms coming out to grab a cookie.
So that is Jolene's first day, basically, in Green Dolphin Prison. And we get a scene that I really appreciate with her in the dark, trying to sleep and thinking about all the fucked up shit that has happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
She's got feelings. She's got feelings and she needs to think about them when she can't sleep.
Rolls around a bit, she closes her eyes and tries to go to sleep. And this is when Gwess very slowly peeks her head over the side of the top bunk and scares the shit out of Jolene.
To give an apology.
Sorry. About last night, I'm really sorry. Also, it's morning already.
Gwess runs out to get breakfast. Jolene takes the opportunity to check on the contents of the bug charm, and it's empty. There's no stone in there. She's also not wearing any pants.
Yep. Like, Gwess is the one that hands Jolene the pendant and is, like, apologizing. Like, hey, sorry, I don't think this is your pendant, though. Like, there's nothing in it. No picture or anything. And, like, yeah, they make up. Jolene is like, hey, sorry for assuming all this stuff. You know, here, you can have the pendant back if you want. And Gwess is just like, wow, you're so nice. I hope we can be really good friends. Gwess leaves. And when Jolene gets off the top bunk to get dressed and stuff, the floor is covered with water.
She got wet pants. She goes back out to the commissary to try to get breakfast, and there's no food. There's no food at breakfast. And the inmate who's working the food line answers the question of, how is there not enough food for everybody? Shouldn't that be required with, hey, that's just one of the 7 wonders of prison? And Jolene asks, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah. The 7 wonders of prison will be coming up several times throughout part 6. But as Jolene's just like, hey, what the fuck? Gwess comes by just and very loudly proclaiming like, oh man, I'm so full I couldn't eat another bite. And tips her tray and throws everything in the trash. And it's like 2 cartons of milk that are half full and 2 bananas only partially eaten. Just dumping all of that in the trash.
This is Mean Girls. This is Mean Girls Behind Bars.
This is Mean Girls, yep.
Mean Girls Prison Edition.
And Jolene goes and takes a closer look at the trash and sees that the actual picture of her mom and dad was just thrown in the trash out of that pendant.
So meanwhile, around the corner, it is time to train this little bird to do tricks.
Yep. She is talking to her little, like, parakeet wherever in her pocket. Just like, okay, come out of my pocket and get on my shoulder. And so he does. She praises the little bird, who is still very clearly voiced by a real man and not making actual bird noises. She has named this little bird Copy-chan, and as she, after praising this bird, she pulls out like a noodle or something, like a bit of spaghetti or something, and is like about to feed the bird, and she's like, first you gotta say I love you, and the bird goes like, I love you. And another thing that made me laugh out loud the first time I saw this was like, praising the bird more. And it's just like, okay, do the next trick. Fly over to my other hand. And the bird goes,
But Gwess doesn't like a quitter. Gwess wants the most adorable, well-trained bird friend and will choke her bird the fuck out until it does as it's told and acts super cute and loving while doing it.
Yeah. And like as this bird is being strangled, the bird just keeps going like, I love you. I love
you. Until it is rescued, I suppose, by Jolene doing her Spider-Man thing.
Yeah, some thread whips by really quick and swaps the bird in Gwess's hand with half of a banana pulled out of the trash. Jolene, who is a floor above with the bird, goes, what the fuck is up with this bird? I saw its head pop off. And so she lightly grabs the head. It pops off. And then a whole bunch of tiny human limbs pour out of the bird's body along with a lot of blood.
And she immediately gets it like, oh, people who've come in contact with that stone develop unique abilities that are specific to them. She's piecing this together a lot faster than Giorno did, and he was born with a stand. It was just kind of embryonic for a while.
Yeah. And like Gwes starts marching up the stairs, and so Jolene tries to hide the evidence of the bird corpse by pulling it over the corner, around the corner with some string, but it just leaves a big blood trail.
And as she's trying to figure out like what she can do from here, how she can hide, she notices the electrical outlet towering above her. Oh no, it is Tiny Time. Oh no.
Tiny Time. The second stand that makes people tiny, actually.
And we see this stand not in action initially, but in this episode's title card.
Yeah.
While Part 5 added animation to the meta-episode title cards, Part 6's changes it to be string-based, of course.
Mm-hmm.
There's a string wipe, basically, of coiling strings that reveal GG Dolls, the localized name of Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah, and it's also been localized another way other than GG Dolls, which was the worst name, Cry Cry Dolls. If you look at the Netflix subtitles, it still says Cry Cry Dolls. When I first watched this episode, when it came out a year ago, it was in English dub voiced as Cry Cry Dolls, and they have updated the voice acting since to say GG Dolls.
So this is just a nasty little gremlin.
Imagine Bart Simpson with spikes.
Mm-hmm,
his head is Bart Simpson shaped.
Yes. It's like a Bart Simpson marionette with all sorts of like little needly pokey spikes coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly from the back and the head.
I do like the design of its head because it's a lot different from any other stand we've seen so far. Especially like the mouth shape. I like it.
Let's see, this was written in 2000 still. Goo Goo Dolls were still kind of at the height of their power. Mm-hmm. This is also the year I first saw them in concert at a Al Gore campaign rally in downtown Flint.
Oh my God.
I got extra credit for doing a democracy.
Now see, at the same time, I think my parents took me to a campaign event for George Bush.
Did you get extra credit for doing a democracy?
No, my parents just wanted to go there. And so I was there, and I was slightly excited to be there because it was promised that Arnold Schwarzenegger would be there, but in the end, he couldn't make it. And so instead, who was there? It was some other celebrity.
Well, it wasn't Johnny Resnick, I can tell you that. He was with me.
I think it was Bo Derek who was there. I'm pretty sure it was Bo Derek.
So Gwes has snatched up little palm-sized Jolene and is chanting her name, crowing about like her power over Jolene. And on the fourth repetition, where she gets really sing-songy with it, Baseball throws her into their shared cell, knocking away toilet paper rolls like bowling pins, which I guess saves her life.
God, yeah.
All in an extended reference to, again, the song Jolene.
Mm-hmm. It's great.
It's really good in both language. I listened to this episode with both language tracks just for that moment. And Quess's like seriously split personality. There's two girls in this girl thing. I wanted to hear how both handled it. It's really good.
Yeah. And Jolene is just, her reaction just, what the fuck is happening? And Gwes says, shut up, put this rat on.
I mean, it makes sense. The last one was turned into sort of a beak man.
Mm-hmm.
So now you get the rat suit. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, so she is finding little animals and killing them and hollowing them out so they can be tiny little fursuits for people she makes tiny. And so she flushes the bird corpse away. Mm-hmm. And she tells Jolene, hey, no talking unless you do it real cute. Then you can speak in full sentences. That's fine.
Mm-hmm,
So now it's time for Jolene's training. She has made a tiny little like hamster wheel out of like matchsticks.
And just makes Jolene the rat run until she's blue in the face. Mm-hmm. And then Jolene gets another little lesson in how stands work. Stands, of course, must have names.
Mm-hmm.
This is communicated by Gwess reciting the King James version of John 1:1.
I love it.
I mean, whenever I name things, I always think of the Gospel of John. That's why I name a lot of things John, actually. So this is happening during strength training, where Gwess is piling 2 books and is about to lay a third onto Jolene, and she's really, really upset when she sees that Jolene has somehow brought in an eraser and a bottle of whiteout to like shield herself from the Giles Corey treatment. It's like, oh, you devious, wonderful idea. Oh, I'm so proud of my little baby.
Yeah. And when I saw this scene the first time, like she was, reciting fucking 1:1 and all that, and also piling all these books on top of Jolene, I was like, is there supposed to be a connection here? The whole piling the stones on people thing? I don't know.
There is a significant change from the manga in this scene, in that the third book that she was about to pile on had a title. Mm-hmm. It was a book of Florida law. Can you see the subtext?
Whoa. All right. Gwess is, being a freak as always, and praising Jolene for being so smart to prop up the books with those little objects. She is named Jolene Chorokichi. That's her name now.
As you do, yeah.
And she's got a plan for Jolene. There is, on the floor where their cell is, there is a small hallway gated off at both ends that leads to, like, where Gwess believes they can make an escape. This hallway, though, is also the gun point, and it says gun point, and if you are found in that hallway, they will shoot you dead. But Gwess really wants to know what's on the other side of this little gunpoint hallway.
And so she can't use Goo Goo Dolls to shrink herself, so she has to have Jolene do it. Imagine walking up to anyone but a JoJo's fan. Imagine talking to a music journalist and saying with a straight face that, I don't know, I always thought that Goo Goo Dolls is just a lesser retread of Little Feet, and they would think you're insane.
Yeah. That's part of the magic of watching JoJo. So yeah, Jolene has to pretend to be a little rat and run along the right side of the wall underneath this little railing that will hide her from the security camera in that hallway.
This is the scene where she gives in and talks cutesy, right?
Yes, it is.
This is another fun difference between the two voices, because in the Japanese voice, to my ear at least, it didn't sound like she was doing a cute voice. It was all just like, it was in word choice and childish cutesy grammar. But in English, it's like full-on small bean ooh-woo.
Yes. Yeah, Kira Buckland has a really good, small bean ooh-woo voice, and it's
I'm
really
a widow
funny.
baby.
Yeah. It's really funny. So yeah, Jolene runs along this hallway and gets to the other side. And she gets spooked because a guard almost steps on her as the guard notices that Gwess is looking down this hallway and going hey, what the fuck are you doing? Get out of here. And so Gwess has to leave. She has to, not attract attention. And so as Jolene tries to run underneath a door and hide in a room on the other end of this hallway, which happens to be a break room where all the guards are drinking coffee. Gwess has moved far enough away that she's out of her stand range, and so Jolene is slowly getting bigger.
Yes.
The guards,
and bit by bit, the rat costume, the rat skin she's wearing is bursting from her increasing within it.
Yeah, and all the guards are going what the fuck was that sound?
It kind of sounds like, I don't know, a thin part of a rat corpse popping open. I don't know why I recognize that sound. I had a weird childhood.
And so all the guards are starting to look around, and Jolene doesn't want to get caught, so she fires off some thread from her hand to grab one of the coffee cups and spill hot boiling coffee on one of the guards to distract them all. And yeah, she is slowly increasing back to her normal size, and so she's trying to escape and get back to the correct side of this hallway before she is caught. And as she's running away, Goo Goo Dolls appears. It was chilling in the rat suit with her the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. The way Goo Goo Dolls seems to work is it will shrink you, for sure. No trouble there. As long as you're close enough to Gwess, you will stay shrunk. But if you try to escape the costume made for you by Gwess, it will cut all of your limbs off.
Yeah. And so, like, Goo Goo Dolls is very tiny. It's like the size of the shrunken down Jolene.
It is, quote, a murderous munchkin.
Yeah. And so Jolene, still pretty tiny, is trying to climb, like, the keypad and, like, other things on the wall. Like, she's getting her legs slashed at by Goo Goo Dolls. And so she makes a big leap onto, like, one of these little... Wow, I cannot think of the word. It's just like some metal outcropping that's holding up something above on the ceiling.
A support truss.
Yeah, like a support truss, yeah.
But she's still growing. She's still growing, and at a rate such that by the time she hoists herself over it, she's grown up enough to be wedged inside it and trapped there.
Yeah, and so now she's just kind of stuck here as Goo Goo Dolls climbs the wall and leaps at her to slash at her again. And just as she's about to get cut, something smashes Goo Goo Dolls into the wall. And after a quick beat of Jolene just being confused, like, what just hit it? It leaps out of the wall again and is then summarily punched into the wall hard again. As she notices that there are, like, bright neon blue arms forming near her.
Yes, yes!
This is a cool reveal. The thread from Jolene is now spooling out of her enough and isn't just, like, wrapping itself around things or anything. Rather, the thread is coiling up tightly to form a humanoid stand. Her stand power essentially has two modes, which is either, like, long distance thread or packed thread that turns into a, like, more humanoid stand with punching capabilities.
The second iteration of her stand, the short range humanoid version of this stand, is just wrecking the tiny little guy that is Goo Goo Dolls, completely destroying it. And so Gwess runs up and is like, "Why am I bloody and in pain? What is happening?
Please
what
stop."
is this?"
And so Jolene, still not quite full size, maybe like a foot or two, she grabs Goo Goo Dolls in her hand and says, like, "Hey, fucking do what I say right now, or I'm squishing this little shit until you blow up."
Gwess goes along with it, shrinks Jolene down enough for her to, like, get free of her trap and be standing free and clear. And that is when Gwess plays the simplest trick of all.
She's, like, gonna give Jolene the pendant, the pendant back, along with, like, the actual shard or whatever, the stone in it. And also divulges the information to Jolene that she bought the the little locket off of a lady named Hermes.
Ah.
And then, yeah, Gwess does the really simple trick, which is just, "Oops, I dropped the thing I was going to give you. You better go pick it up." Like, Jolene turns around and she gets punched again to become very tiny and thrown into the gunpoint hallway and then made full size so that the guards can notice, "Hey, there's a lady in there. Better shoot her with our shotguns."
Gwess may not be powerful. She's played all of her tricks, but the greatest trick of all is using the prison itself as a weapon.
Yeah. And, like, the alarm is going off and, like, extra fencing or another door, like, a shutter falls over the iron bars. Jolene tries to punch her way out through the shutter, but her stand is not strong enough to actually break through iron bars. And so...
It'd be a pretty short prison story if it could.
Yeah. Gwess is just standing there on the other side, taunting Jolene as she's about to be shot to death by prison guards. And there's a lot of, like, different little effects they're doing to make Gwess come off extra unhinged here. Like, distorted off-model drawings of her faces, lots of fisheye lens shots of her face, just as, like, Gwess is, like, you know, like, at the height of her evil laughter and taunting her. Jolene realizes, wait a minute, these stands are ghosts and can punch, like, through things. And so her stand just punches Gwess, like, square in the jaw.
And then we get introduced, because, like, You got to have names? Okay, I got a name. This stand is called Stone Free. She doesn't know the word stand yet. Never mind. This ability of mine is called Stone Free, localized to Stone Ocean, because I'm going to be free of this stone ocean. It works. Yep, it works for all the words are in there. Mm-hmm. Named, of course, for the Jimi Hendrix song, one of the first recordings he made as part of the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Yep. You probably know it. Like, go listen to it. You'll be like, oh, yeah, this is what the 70s sound like. Yep, that's the one.
Yep. And now, I guess, is a good time to actually describe what Stone Free looks like.
Yes, this is the first JoJo stand who is cool.
Yeah, yes.
I really don't like Shining Diamond. I think... I think Star Platinum looks kind of dumb. I think Golden Wind looks kind of... I think Gold Experience looks kind of dumb. Mm-hmm. But I love the look of Stone Free. This is cool as shit.
Stone Free looks like a woman that could become a motorcycle if she wanted to. But yes, this is a stand that is,
It's got shades!
Yeah, it's not even like cyber shades. This stand is straight up wearing normal green, like emerald green shades.
It's fucking cool. So yeah, that same like soft blue color as the strings of which it is comprised, obviously. High-waisted leather pants, like big ol' pauldrons. Just the face. The face is so cool.
The face is really cool. It's hard to describe, but it's cool. The stand doesn't have ears. It kind of has like the ears of Mega Man's helmet, sort of. It's got like on the left and right side of its face, it's got like these two like thin metal strips that go up like the cheeks and then like up to the top of the head and extend a little bit beyond the head. She's got like these little metal studs along her forehead and like and the rest of her head. And one of the details I really like about Stone Free, but it's basically blue and silver. It's got like knee pads in the shape of diamonds, which look pretty dope.
Yes.
But yeah, it's mostly blue, but it's clearly wearing like it's not just its skin. It looks like it's actually wearing like some type of leather because there's wrinkles in the material. But there's small cutouts on like the biceps and the forearms and like the calves and its fingers that reveal kind of like a thread-like coily material to kind of reveal that like, hey, this is a suit being filled up by coiled up thread. And that's really neat looking.
It's so good.
It's also got like smaller golden studs on its knuckles, kind of like Star Platinum.
It's just confidence in a body is what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's so good.
I don't know. It is a stand design that I would say looks sleek. Like compared to a lot of other stands that can have a lot going on, this one is like very sleek. Basically, only like two colors and an accent color.
It does have a lot going on, but in a way that isn't busy. You know?
Yeah. And yeah, Stone Free, one of my favorite stand designs. I love the look of Stone Free.
And it's time for a great big punch rush, and we learn like the battle cry of Stone Free. It's the same as Dad's.
Yep, it's the
auras are back, baby.
Yep. And so yeah, when Jolene is like explaining the name of her ability and finally goes into the auras and does a big old punch rush, something I really like that Part 6 does sometimes. When people like Jolene use stand abilities, there are times where they like really emphasize that it's like the stand doing all the work and not the user, because Stone Free is like directly behind Jolene, like doing this punch rush, punching around her, and like the force of the punches is like blowing Jolene's hair around, but she is completely still, just letting her stand do all of the work, and it looks awesome.
It's great. It's the best. So yeah, every bone in Gwess's face is shattered. Which convinces her to sneak Jolene out, do as she's told, because from now on, no matter what the hierarchy in this prison is, Jolene is the one giving out the orders. Yeah. And that's the end of the episode, really.
Yeah, it ends with Jolene looking at her little amulet again with the picture restored, and she has the arrow shard. And Gwess is in the top bunk, completely wrapped in bandages, and all you hear her go is, just like in absolute pain from getting completely wrecked.
With her butt hanging out.
With her butt hanging out.
You gotta see her butt. Come on, that didn't get punched.
Yeah, the ass is the one thing that didn't get punched. It's true. No ass punches.
And now we also get the first look at the end credits for Stone Ocean, which is beach time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's set in Palm Beach. The bird's eye view at the end of the opening is clearly like the Palm Beach shoreline, but a giant fictional island added to it.
Yeah.
It's beach time. And the song is Distant Dreamer by Duffy, part of like the UK blue-eyed soul wave of the 2000s.
Yeah.
The delivery, like the vocal performance of the song really is very 50s to me. Like it's a very going to the chapel-esque vocal performance.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just a very chill ending credits.
It's good, but there's visually is just the beach.
Yeah.
You know? It fits the mood you want, but there's not a lot to talk about, is what I mean. Is all I mean to say.
The water is CG, but it looks really pretty.
Episode 3, The Visitor 1. We roll with a quick recap of what brought us to what I imagine will be episodic prison adventures for a while, and the OP. And now, Jolene is telling us about Stone Free and how it's basically 2 stands in 1. She got a combo. She got a twofer. Congratulations.
Yep. When it's in thread form, it's extremely long distance, but it's very weak and the string can be snapped easily. Yeah, she packs the thread together. It turns into a humanoid stand with, a really short, basically Star Platinum's range. It basically has to be right by her. Not strong enough to punch through iron bars or anything, but is strong enough to bend a nickel in half.
Yeah. Which is pretty good, actually. So now we get Jolene just living in prison as a kind person in a harsh society. And this is illustrated in the great big line for the telephones.
She is next in line, but there's this blonde lady on the phone is asking Jolene if she can do her a solid and just lend her $1 because it's been like a month or something since she last talked to her boyfriend or her family or whatever. She just really wants to extend the call a little bit. So Jolene just lends her $1, doesn't think anything of it. She goes over to the phone next to her that has just become free, and the lady from the previous episode, the prisoner who serves the food in the cafeteria, just butts in front of Jolene and goes like, "Hey, fuck you. This is the law of the land."
Yet another of the 7 wonders of prison is that the line for the phones isn't at the phones. And all the phone time has been claimed months in advance. So,
yep. Another lady shows up in line and purchases phone time privilege with $20. Like the lunch lady is just like, "This is how it works. Better get used to it."
So yeah, she does not make her call, but she does get $20, and this seems pretty good all around. And then Gwess is there to be like, "Hey, I know you're new, but you have got to just destroy this blonde woman for the sake of $1, or you're fucked."
Yeah. If you can't assert yourself enough to get $1 back from a woman, everyone's going to know that you're a pansy and that everyone can take advantage of you. Like that lady over there.
Like that 14-year-old child. What is no, what is wrong with this place?
This place sucks. Because, yeah, there's just this tiny, meek little woman getting bullied by a much larger woman, and, like, she...
And her crew. There's, like, 3 or 4 of them gathered around this band camp-ass child that we're meant to believe is an adult offender.
Yeah, Gwess is just explaining, like, "Hey, rumors around here spread like wildfire, so, like, you have, like, until the end of today to fix this, or else you're screwed for life."
This bullying victim has fucking barrettes from Claire's. What is she doing here? Get her out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be in the juvenile wing. Get her out of here.
So Jolene gets the message, and she follows the blonde woman from the phones and finds her in the reading room, which is a pretty dang well-stocked library.
It's a nice looking library, not gonna lie.
The blonde woman is reading a book that is called Artemis's Angels, which is meant to be Apollo's Angels, a history of ballet that was printed in 2010.
Yeah, I was surprised to learn that, like, all of the books you see in close enough detail in this part are, like, off-brand versions of actual books that are time, like, period appropriate. They did not have to do that, but they did.
Much like Joseph K's video games, this is something where like it was in the future when originally written, but the past when adapted. So the anime can make things really, really present, probably too present, too contemporary for a prison library.
Yeah.
It might actually be more realistic if they'd kept with the manga version where she was reading The Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Because prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jolene walks up and is just like, hey, you said you were going back to your cell for my dollar. Where's my dollar? And the blonde lady's like, I'm good for it. Just get off my back. Why are you so touchy about dollars? But because this is really about, figuring out the new pecking order with the new girl, there are 3 other prisoners at another table listening very closely. The ones that were harassing the tiny child just a moment ago.
Yeah.
And they are also reading books. One of them is reading The Queen of All Maladies, which is meant to be the Emperor of All Maladies, that won the 2011 Pulitzer for nonfiction.
Okay.
The subtitle is A Biography of Cancer. Another is reading a book called Finishing the Cat, which is, of course, Stephen Sondheim's Finishing the Hat, a collection of his lyrics from the beginning of his career all the way up through to the mid to late 80s, along with notes and advice and annotations. And when this comes out, Christmas is coming. If anybody wants to get me anything, I would love to read Finishing the Hat one day.
Yeah.
Every book we see in this scene is nonfiction published in the year 2010. Why is this? No one's reading novels?
For a little bit, this blonde lady that owes Jolene $1, is being very nice and all that. And then the instant Jolene pushes a second time about the dollar, she gets really in her face and pissy, just like, hey, why the fuck do you care about this dollar? All this shit. And then she goes back to the nice mode and is like grabbing and like stroking Jolene's like braid that she has in the back of her head, and just like, look, hey, I have a friend from the outside who's going to be bringing me extra money, and I'll pay you back then, and I'll give you even more than $1. And so Jolene just says nothing and leaves, and previously established that her stand can bend coins in half with its grip strength. She combines that crushed coin, which has been like partially crushed into a fine powder, and runs that powder along her stand thread so the powder gets poured into that lady's drink.
Yes. So instead of giving $1, she is receiving pulverized powder of nickel and copper, mostly copper. Apparently this causes some intestinal distress.
Oh, yeah. This lady has really bad shits all of a sudden.
Let me just fuck up your guts real bad. Super exaggerated comical faces and noises and poses. It's funny. It's gross funny.
So this lady immediately runs towards the bathroom because she's about to explode. And Jolene has...
She's puking blood. Like, come on.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. Jolene has locked herself in the women's bathroom just reading a book, and she refuses to open the door to let this lady in unless she pays her $10.
A book simply titled Selected Stories. Selected Stories from what category? I don't know.
Everything. Just it's a little sampler of every genre. And so this lady is extremely desperate to use the bathroom, and so she pays Jolene the $10. And like Jolene walks out, like waving the $10 around to make sure absolutely everybody sees what she just did.
Which, frankly, a bargain when you're going through the trouble that lady was.
Yeah.
And so Jolene walks through the reading room and sees who but like her tiny little protege, I guess, and is like, hey, as soon as that lady's done, lock yourself in the bathroom. Let me teach you the ways of my grift.
Yeah, because as Jolene leaves, she poisons the drinks of every other woman, specifically all those women that were bullying this little girl earlier, puts more nickel and copper in all their drinks.
It's your job to dig yourself out, but here's a map for you. It's sort of the royal road to life in prison.
Or the Golden Way. Either one, really.
So as Jolene is continuing on her day, she's distracted by an object rolling around. Wait a minute. Oh, that's a baseball.
Yes, on the other side of the gate to this library, a baseball rolls by, and then so does a little boy. He shouldn't be here.
And of course he couldn't make the grab. He's wearing a Cubs uniform.
Yep. Now in the manga, of course, it was literally straight up the Cubs with the logo and everything. In the anime, when it first came out, they just kept like the red circle, but took like, the logo off of it. They have updated this animation, I swear to God, because now they have put like new made up logos. So it's like a Florida based baseball team. There's like a little dolphin on it or something.
As opposed to the actual Florida based baseball team.
Yeah. Looking at the outfit, it's still very clearly the Cubs, even with all the fake stuff on it. By the way, he's number 6. Is that a relevant player number?
Let's see. At the time of publication, Ross Glode was wearing it. If you don't recognize his name, why would you?
Mm-hmm.
Keith Moreland was number 6 through the 80s. That's a guy. People like that guy.
Okay.
I don't think the number, if it has any particular meaning, has a meaning related to the Chicago Cubs baseball organization.
Okay. But yeah, Jolene sees this ball roll by, and then this kid in the Cubs uniform runs by to pick it up. And Jolene is very confused that there's a little boy here.
And he has dire warnings.
Yeah. This is a strange child. He's not normal.
He warns Jolene that she has a visitor coming for her noon the next day, but she must not go see him, because if she does, a fate worse than death will occur.
Yes. He says all this while Jolene is looking in the direction the ball rolled, and the boy is like behind that, and like the instant she looks over to look at him, he's vanished. So
she has to follow. She has follow-up questions, clearly, and tries to leave, but the exit to the reading room is sort of a checkpoint. She's got to like hit the buzzer and wait for a guard to give her permission. Mm-hmm. They love it when inmates read. They want to keep him in there as much as possible, I guess, because this dude does not want to let her out.
Yeah, like it's also against the rules to be touching the bars, so he like pulls his nightstick out and hits her on the hands really hard. And when she falls to the floor in pain, he opens up the gate and then like smashes her across the face with a nightstick, which knocks her out.
And so we cut to the other side of the prison, the men's ward, in the shower. And we see a guy who's got the whole world on his back.
Dude, this dude
He's got the whole wide world on his back.
This dude is the most caked up character in all of JoJo.
Like, gigantic ass.
His ass
Hockey
is
player ass.
Huge. It is a shelf. You could put a drink on it.
I would like to, just for the picture.
Yeah. This is one of those dudes, or rather people. Anyone could do this trick if they've got the equipment. Where you could just take like a bottle of Coke and just put it in between the cheeks and they can just hold it. They'll just grip it. And there's a picture of them doing this half drunk on their Facebook, and it gets them in trouble.
You can't do it with a glass bottle, or else he would hurt himself badly.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
So, like, he finishes his shower, he gets dressed, he does a weird thing with $10. $10 falls out of... Where does it fall from?
It falls out of a weird pocket on his shirt.
Yeah, and he just, like, nudges his shoe so that it falls inside his shoe rather than on the floor of the like, communal prison shower.
Yeah.
And as he walks out, a guard is like, hey, buddy, got some info for you. There's going to be a visitor tomorrow in the ladies' side of the prison. That guard gets his $10 payoff, and the guard's like, hey, your pants are on backwards. Obviously his pants are on backwards. He needs to have an open fly back there to fit his massive ass.
Yeah, he's grown since he came to prison. It's the only way they fit now. I guess, should we describe the look of this guy right now?
Sure. He will be named in like a few scenes time. So I guess it's time to talk about him.
Okay, so when he's revealed, and he's got the pants on backwards and all that, and he's kind of like awkwardly shuffling towards where his clothes were next to the shower and all of this. When you see his eyes, they're like glazed over. He's got like cataracts.
Totally pupilless. Yeah. Underneath each eye, he has a tattoo of the Greek letter pi.
Yeah. He's got long white, kind of like Sephiroth hair, but like one like strand of hair that of bangs that goes around one side of his face has like been braided, and the top of his head, like where his hair parts really, he's taken a bunch of excess hair and like tied both two little bows like out of his hair, and then his shirt is like the main thing you're going to be drawn towards because it's drippy looking.
He got a lumpy sweater.
Yeah.
Why is it lumpy? Why did you do that?
Yeah, he's just got big lumps all over his shirt, kind of as if his shirt was melting, sort of, and it was like beating up or something. It's a weird lumpy shirt.
And he's got a necktie because he's a business prisoner.
Yeah, the tie is weird because like all the way down the middle are like little golden like rivets, or like one half of a button, really, like the any part, the any button.
And then he's just wearing pretty basic like dark blue business slacks, except when you get down to the knees and below, it's got the droopies. It's got the same thing as his shirt.
Yeah, it's got the same weird.
His pants look so sad.
Yeah, that's basically that guy. And also, before he put his shirt back on, he had like a big tattoo on his back. That was, I think it was just the globe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the globe.
I sang a song about it and everything. I don't know why you don't remember this. So now it is the next day. It's lunchtime in the mess hall, and Jolene has a lot of bandages on her hand from that encounter at the library gate. Mm-hmm. And the same guard is like, oh, you're like trying to get attention for your little boo-boo.
This guy's a dick.
He's a big dick.
And he like hits her hand with like handcuffs he's swinging around. What a jerk. But yeah, he is there to tell Jolene, hey, there's a visitor for you. I gotta cuff you so I can take you there.
It is currently 12:05. Prophecy invalid. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. So she gets taken to the like visitation chamber and given a rundown because it's her first visitor. Like, you can hold hands. You cannot get naked. Cool.
None of that. No kissing.
You can receive things, but they have to go to the guards to get inspected first before they get to you. All that sort of stuff. You just stand here and wait for me to get the space ready. Mm-hmm. And then there's a rustling in a trash can. And it's the kid.
The kid's in the trash can.
Of course the kid is trash. He's wearing a Cubs uniform.
Yeah, this kid, he reaches out from the little slot in the trash can to grab Jolene's arm and is just begging her, like, don't go in there. It's not too late. Go back to your cell. Whatever you do, just don't go in there, please. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't know the actual details, and I cannot actually explain this at all, but there is just something worse than death, and it will happen if you go in there.
But Jolene has to go, because what if it's this mysterious mama that we've heard about, but not in much detail? I must know more about mama. Tell me about your mama. Mm-hmm. She's so desperate to like see her and let her know that she's doing okay on the inside, because she can't make a phone call. It's like a 3-month waiting list.
Yeah. So, Jolene explains all this to this kid, and there's a brief pause, and then he holds his hand out and gives Jolene something, places something in her hands.
Something to comfort her.
Yeah, it's a good luck charm.
Yeah, because there's nothing more comforting than an animal pelvis.
Yeah, she is given a bone, a pelvis bone, and Jolene just goes, what? And then before she could do anything else, like the guard just says, like, hey, everything's ready, you can come in. So she walks in, and it is not her mom in there.
It is not. It's, that guy from the OP, Jotaro Kujo.
Oh, Dad's here.
In his brand new Part 6 look, snakeskin pants, hot dang.
I love the snakeskin pants look for Jotaro here. His boots are snakeskin too, I believe.
I'm looking at like the key art. His boots are his pants. This is one garment. It's like waders. He can go work in a cranberry bog in these things.
Jotaro Kujo, still wearing basically the same type of jacket, just a new one. It's still like his school uniform jacket with the tall collar with the chain on one end of the collar.
But it's bright purple with like gold zippers. White down each sleeve that just says JoJo over and over again.
Yeah, and there's like green accents. There's a big green star. Like the rim of his hat is green. He's still wearing the torn hat that fuses with his hair look.
It's gotten more confounding with every part, I swear.
yeah. It is just one unit now. The hair has been grafted to the hat somehow. It sounds like you might have the wiki entry open right now. How old is Jotaro at the start of part 6 now? He must be in his late 30s, early 40s at this point.
Okay, he was born in 1970, so he is about 40 years old.
Okay, he looks really fucking good for 40. He looks younger. Yeah. He is getting younger. Like, there's more lines on his face now, but I don't know. He's looking pretty good. So we get the mid-episode title card, which is Star Platinum.
Also, slightly updated to the new style, the new like line weight, but it's Star Platinum. Star Platinum does not change as much as its wielder.
Yeah.
So we get a baby Jolene arrest flashback when we come back to the action. This is the first time she got brought in for stealing a car at age 14.
She's got a completely different look here that I love.
It's pretty good.
She's wearing like very low waist camo pants or waders because the high heels that she's wearing are also part of the camo pants. And she's wearing like this orange like singlet, I guess.
Yeah, or like a dancer's leotard.
Yeah. And she has a gigantic butterfly pinned to the right side of her chest. But yeah, this is the first time Jolene was arrested.
And the first time we really see her mom outside of that small photograph yelling at a cop to be like, hey, come on now. Come on.
She's only 14. Jolene, her hair is a little different. She doesn't have it braided in the back. It's just long in the back. She also has a giant purple star painted over her left eye.
Look, I remember the mid-2000s. Everybody looked like this all the time.
Oh, yeah. At our high school, all the girls were like this.
And she's a little upset that her dad isn't here, that he's instead on some trip to Tokyo. This is not Diamond is Unbreakable. The years do not line up. It's some separate trip to Tokyo, to Japan.
Yeah.
In fact, a part of the manga that was adapted in the first or second episode mentions a time when her dad went to Japan for a while she was 6 and really sick. And that is Diamond is Unbreakable.
Yep. And yeah, this flashback is a little stylized because people are getting like spotlights pointed on them and stuff. There's a bit here where it appears to be Jotaro walking up towards her from the darkness. And when a spotlight shines on him and we get a closer look, it is just a weird guy dressing exactly like Jotaro. Some weird schlubby guy.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the flashback. So Jotaro gets like 2 words out to Jolene, which is just like, hey, that pendant. Well, that's 3. And Jolene just immediately turns towards the guard and just double fist Captain Kirk punches him across the jaw and knocks him the hell out.
Because she would rather get sent to solitary and lose visitation privileges than have to deal with him visiting her. And Jotaro's like, okay, well, this sucks. But anyway, I've got important business to talk to you about. There's a guy trying to kill you in here. You got to know some shit.
Yeah. And like the guy responsible for putting you in jail, not Romeo. It's this dude who wants to kill you.
Romeo, the judge, the lawyer, they were all dancing along to the puppet master's string pulling. Believe me, we know a lot about string pulling now. Of John Gallier, the man with the droopy clothes.
Yes.
John Golly, first name, A, last initial. That is his name.
John Gallier, yep.
Named for designer John, first name, Galliano, last name.
Yeah.
He's former creative director at Givenchy and Dwar. Dwar fired him for an anti-Semitic outburst caught on camera.
Oh my god.
Roughly about the time this is set, so years after a character was named for him.
Yeah. Well then. But yeah, Jotaro has like a picture of John Gallier that he lays out on the table in this room. And yeah, he just details that John Gallier set all this up. He hired henchmen to kill a random guy and chuck this random guy into the car Jolene was in.
And get Romeo to react the way he did, and the lawyer to double cross her, and the judge to not pay attention to how bizarre this legal proceeding is.
Yeah.
All to get her in this prison where he is so she can die.
Yeah.
He could have just hired people to shoot her, right? Like, you could just shoot a kid. I don't think you should. I just want to be clear. I don't think you should.
No.
But you could do it. If you wanted a dead kid, you could just...
And she is asking Jotaro, like, why would a guy even want me dead? I'm like 16 or something? I don't know.
16 years old, joyriding in Florida. There's alligators out here. She's gonna... Just be patient. She's gonna die.
Yeah. And Jotaro just explains, hey, the reason why he wants to kill you is because of the Joestar blood that flows through you. She's never heard of the Joestars, so she's very confused.
I love having them side by side in the scene because of how, because of the contrast. Like, we've been watching Jotaro Kujo for most of his life, and he's flat and reserved, and however powerful his feelings are, you're lucky to see a smirk.
Yeah.
Jolene's emotions on her sleeve at all times.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever she gets bad news, she just kicks the shit out of this prison guard more as he lies there.
Yeah.
No internal life. She's big and bold and violent and great.
Mm-hmm. And so Jotaro's, briefly explaining the Joestar lineage, and also explains like, hey, so when I was younger, I killed the shit out of a guy who hated the Joestars. That's all you need to know.
But he left behind even more dudes than we thought.
Yes. There are still remnants of Dio servants in the world, even in the 2010s, and John Gallier is one of them. He never met Dio, but was still so fiercely loyal to him that he wants to kill the Joestars.
With his incredible combat skills as a decorated world-class sniper.
Yes, he is a war veteran. So Jotaro's asking her, like, hey, did you get a stand? By the way, these are what stands are. She doesn't say anything. She just has a visible reaction on her face. And she's like, okay, yep, you got a stand. And he's explaining, like, I didn't pass on any stand stuff to you specifically, but you do have potential for it, so I'm glad you got a punch ghost. And also the whole time this conversation is happening, because they're just talking at a table, we're getting a bunch of different camera angles. We're getting ominous camera angles from the AC vent in the ceiling. We're seeing, like, as if we're crawling around the air ducts and peering through it, watching their conversation.
And more condensation, little by little, building up until eventually there's a drip.
Mm-hmm. Jolene, she wants to leave. She goes to grab the iron bars and like shout for a guard. And when she does that, she's no longer wearing handcuffs. And she doesn't know how that happened. And at the same time, Jotaro gets caught off guard because suddenly there's a lit cigarette in the ashtray, and he has no idea who lit that or how that got there all of a sudden.
So now we see the difference between, a brash, headstrong hero and, Jotaro with all these many years of experience. He knows they're already in a fight and therefore losing.
Just as Jotaro's going to tell Jolene, hey, get the hell away from that, the window, Jolene gets shot.
Yes. She gets shot square in the shoulder, and you'd think, oh man, that practically grazed her heart. She's in a bad way, but no. Instinctually, in the smallest possible moment of time, her strings wove a thick mat in the shape of a hand, like a scarf arm came to grab the bullet, so it's only a superficial wound.
Yeah, and we see all of this happen, like, with time frozen, because this is Jotaro's like checking out the scene with Star Platinum.
He froze time for detective reasons.
Yes. Now both Jolene and Jotaro kind of like up against the side of this door, just trying to barely peer through the little grate to try to see if they can find their enemy. And like Jotaro's observing the bullet that Jolene stopped and going like, "Yep, this is a sniper round. We got a sniper."
From like a real gun, not a gun that is a ghost.
Yeah, this is a real ass gun. Jotaro's explaining, like, how could anyone get a sniper rifle in here? And it's just like, hey, if you pay off the guards, you can just sneak in the rifle part by part in other things. Like
a ham, like a cheese, like a pack of giraffe wides rather than Camel Slims.
I love that when you see all the different objects and then you get like the transparency on top where you see the gun parts in them, the ham is holding like half of a sniper rifle in it. There are so many gun parts in that ham.
Camel wides? What?
Yeah, camel wides.
I'm just trying to picture a wide cigarette. It's like an oval. It's not round.
Yeah, it's in between a cigarette and a cigar size-wise, I would think. But yeah, I gotta check. What is hidden in the ham? It looks like a scope, potentially the stock, 5 rounds of ammo, and then what looks like maybe like part of the upper receiver of the gun. Mm-hmm. That's a lot in a ham.
It's a big ham.
It's a big ham.
So they like take more protected positions at the window to peek out into the hallway and see how he could have possibly made this shot all the way from the men's wing into the visiting room here through the window. That's impossible. Mm-hmm. And they see most of a Pokemon. You add eyes to this thing, that's a fucking Pokemon.
Oh yeah. There's an enemy stand out in the hallway. It's a little thing. It looks like a ghost type Pokemon, basically.
It looks like a ceiling fan is blooming.
Yes.
And your car keys are dangling beneath it.
Yeah, there are 2 very obviously just car keys shaped objects dangling from it. And it's not really doing anything. It's just kind of lazily floating around in the air.
It's just floating around. It doesn't have a name yet, so don't really know what's happening yet. But they see it and they're like, that's something. That's doing something. And they try to figure out what it responds to, because it's not reacting to anything visual. It's not reacting to their voice. And Jolene has a hunch, and it takes a while for her to find the words, but she is correct that it's just like following wind currents. It's following the motion of the air.
Yeah. She shoots out like 2 threads to like graze it. And when she does that, it just kind of pushes this little sand away. It just floats away. And like Jotaro's pissed because he just wants to observe it from afar and not fucking touch it. But yeah, they're able to figure out that it's moving around on air currents. And this is when the prison guard that got knocked out wakes up and is ultra pissed.
Yeah, somebody's in big trouble.
And as this prison guard starts moving and shouting and stirring up the air around him, this causes the enemy stand to pick up speed and start coming right towards them. This guard like rears up, getting ready to swing his baton at Jolene, and so Jotaro leaps in the way so she doesn't get hit. And the instant that happens, Jotaro gets shot in the shoulder. The bullet passes through him, and then also shoots the guard in the head, killing him.
I mean, taking a bullet for your daughter does not make you a good dad, but it is helpful in the moment,
Yeah. So Jotaro has been shot, and the final shot of this episode is just Jolene, like, actually scared seeing her dad getting shot in the frickin' shoulder.
He came to bust her out. He's like, oh, your stand can't punch the walls down? My can. They're not going to stop us. Oh, shit, stand fight. Oh, no, I've been shot. Oh, no.
Yep. And yeah, that's the end of the 3 episodes for today.
So yeah, what an introduction. Like, it's... Jolene makes a strong first impression.
Oh yeah.
I think like she is the crudest. She is the most like she's the one who vents her frustrations and anger most openly in a really like cathartic way, because her life is also the worst. Everything sucks for her.
Yeah. Didn't bring it up like while we were talking through the episodes, but she does like yell and scream in frustration a lot, and Kira Buckland is really good at vocalizing that, just the types of like screams she does.
All of our JoJos have been teenagers, but something that is so core to like teenage stories and that teenage experience is feeling like the world is out to get you, and none of the others have really had that. Like, I think Giorno touched on a different teenage feeling that you've got it figured out. You're ready to take on the world. They're not ready for you. But Jolene has the other side. Like, no, the world sucks, and I am like fated to be shit on, especially.
Yeah. I also think Jolene is a nice contrast to Giorno from part 5, because Giorno is like part of a larger cast. There's lots of times where Giorno is more in the background as, whoever else takes front and center. A lot of the time, Bruno. In part 6, like throughout all of it, Jolene is like the main character. We get a lot of JoJo in part 6 because Jolene is basically always front and center. We do get other, allies and stuff like every other part that also get a good amount of focus too. But Jolene is like always present for the most part, and it's
I'm surprised
nice
that the third episode had no Hermes in it, especially with the second episode being like, oh, by the way,
yeah. We got Jotaro father issues to tackle first, I think. Jolene gives off a really strong impression from the get go. She's basically great from the start, and she feels like even like a lot of times in JoJo, like the writing and like the character of that JoJo might change a little bit over time, just because Araki, is just kind of changing up who they are over time. Jolene
these things take years.
Yeah. Jolene feels like fully realized basically from the get go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of the reason why she comes off so strong and from the start. Like, I haven't read through all of part 6 yet. I'm close. But I like Jolene a lot. She might be one of my favorites, actually. She has some really fun moments. Like the part 6 has a lot of fun with her personality. And also, after having so many parts that are kind of travelogues or a little globetrotty for sure, we're back to another part that's like, at least for now, very much in just one singular location, even smaller than part 4. It's not even a city. It's just a prison.
I think my favorite part that didn't get mentioned is immediately after Loco Rococo's briefing, someone just says, oh, crocodile.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a crocodile outside. We get a tiny little insert of where the crocodile is on the grounds of the prison.
Mm-hmm. And Jolene's stand, extremely cool looking design-wise. I like that it's just string that she can form into a humanoid stand. I think that's neat.
I mean, and look at all of the tricks we've gotten so far. Like, it's a delivery vehicle for poison. It is an espionage stand to listen through. It can move small objects around very quickly, and it can punch your face off.
Yeah. Like, she hasn't done it yet, but it also makes logical sense that she could use that string like a grappling hook probably and like zip around Spider-Man style or something. Kind of like what Joseph did with Hermit Purple.
Well, unless the string alone is not strong enough to carry her weight with the added G's of the pendulum swing.
That's true.
I don't know.
Maybe it could get stronger if she uses multiple threads or something. Maybe she can like, twist together and make a rope.
She can twist it together to make body armor.
Yeah. Something I think is interesting about part 6 is JoJo is known for being, super colorful, shifting color palettes all the time. And part 6 is doing that too. But the setting it's in is like a setting that is just naturally devoid of color. It's just concrete.
Yeah. I enjoy how like scuffed up and worn and just aged and dirty the walls are, though.
Yeah, nothing looks clean in this prison. It's all gross looking.
Like there's a lot of wear and tear and disuse and like it doesn't look nice, which means what there is instead is a lot of visual interest on what could be just like sheer blank walls.
Also, it only happens a couple times in these first few episodes, but we see the part 4 thing come back of like non-important people in the background just being like silvery silhouettes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the next 2 episodes. Because like even though the next episode is called The Visitor 2 and then episode 5 is Prisoner of Love, those are actually episodes 2 and 3 of a 3-parter, really. But the next 2 episodes I really liked when I first watched them, so I'm very excited to see these again. It's like we've only got one real stand fight so far, and it was a pretty simple one.
Yeah.
Like when we get into the more the more like real stand fights, they're interesting too because they do feel a little different approach wise from like part 5.
I mean, I'm very excited to see more of like this cast getting filled out and what it means to have a punch ghost when your enemy is institutional violence.
Yeah.
It's a completely different problem from a vampire wants to eat me, you know?
Yeah.
Every minute of my day is under the control of someone I've never met, and all of these different arms of bureaucracy and institutions in between us. It's very, very different.
Yep. And like there's even explicit dialogue and when Jolene's trying to get on the phone. You know, it's when she's introducing her powers at the start of the episode, and she's thinking about her stand and all of that, and she thinks, you know, even though I've got this, you know, incredible new power, it's not strong enough to get me out of prison.
So come on back next week to follow Jolene's next steps trying to get out of prison in less than 15 years. Where we'll be talking about episodes 4 through 6, The Visitor, 2, Prisoner of Love, and Hermes's Stickers. Oh, she's a scrapbooker. That's nice.
Oh.
But that doesn't mean we are back making the show regularly, week to week, talking about the anime, which means it's a great time to tell people that we're back, that the long wait is over, the drought is broken, and every Monday is Dogs Must Die Day again.
It felt like a long and short wait at the same time. I don't know.
So we do appreciate hearing your feedback. I'm sure that if I cast my mind some weeks in the future, I'll be seeing some very excited people, and I know it's going to warm my heart. So why not tell your friends and have them join on that train? And hey, giving us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or elsewhere can also communicate the love, share the joy around the whole world, you know?
Yeah.
JoJo's global. It's even in Florida.
Yeah. But yeah, until then, see you next time.
To be continued.